welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 8-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you are getting very serious about MLB DFS, I do offer a premium content package. It's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same things that I use when building my own lineups. Things like my daily FanDuel and DraftKings MLB power rankings, cheat sheet, MLB data sheet, high hitter StatCast data, splits leaderboard, team hitting data, bullpen data, and MLB Discord chat access, as well as access to me chatting with me on Patreon and my Google Sheets leading up to lock. If you need help with anything, you see me on there, you can hop in and ask me questions you need to. And then with that being said, don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day, as well as a segment I do every single video on this channel. My guy that I'm calling to go deep today that you should be getting in your lineups is going to be hitting a home run. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. Fantasy sports, we get points for strikeouts. Figure out the top pitchers on the slate, and then we'll get into bats after that. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Alek Manoah, taking on the Miami Marlins. Only a 6 innings pitch sample size, made his debut last time against the New York Yankees. I was actually at that game in Yankee Stadium, pitched a very effective game. Looking at the game logs, we can see when pulling it up, he was able to go 6 innings pitched, 7 Ks. As far as pitch count, he worked his way up to 88 pitches. I have a feeling going forward he's going to have a bit of a longer leash than that, so we should expect to see even more pitches out of him. As far as FanDuel, they've really priced him up on this slate today. Going in with a 10K price tag over there on FanDuel. It does look like there could be some weather concerns here. Toronto has moved to Buffalo. As far as the stadium's concerned, looks like there could be some rain headed over, so this game might not even play. If it does, this is a guy that's a young top prospect that could really pay off for you in tournaments that people may not know about yet. I highly doubt they don't, because, I mean, the guy's priced way up on FanDuel, and I'm sure he's going to be talked about a lot just because he's the new shiny toy, so to speak, as far as the new prospect in the league, and a lot of times people like to talk about those guys. But going to be definitely in a good matchup taking on the Miami Marlins. Expect to have some real talent, and definitely going to be a viable option today if he's able to take the bump. Second on the list, we got Shane McClanahan taking on the New York Yankees. Comes in with a 29.6% K overall, a 17.7 swinging strike rate, 31% K rate against righties, and a 23.8% K rate against lefties. Has been very effective against right-handed hitting, but left-handed hitting is when things can start to go a little bit downhill. But luckily for him, the New York Yankees do have a very right-handed heavy lineup, and for that reason, you can definitely be looking to him today. Comes in as a 108 underdog, unfortunately, so you're not expecting to get the win. He is a left-handed pitcher, but he has been much more effective against right-handed hitting, ironically. So I'm sure there's going to be some people that are going to have some interest in some Yankees bats based on the fact that he's lefty and they're so right-handed heavy, which is, I guess, interesting. But when you're looking at his numbers, they really do weigh out as him actually being really good against those right-handed hitters. And he does have some pretty good strikeout upside. So he's in a situation where he's probably not going to get the highest ownership. The New York Yankees definitely do have their fair share of strikeouts, even though they have their fair share of power. And I think he could definitely play off for you in tournaments. He comes in at 7-1 on FanDuel as far as DraftKings is concerned. They have him priced at 7-6. And looking at his leash and how long he's been going to the games, he's been running around like 60 to 80 pitches. So, of course, on a one-pitcher site like FanDuel, where you really need the win, the quality start, and all that stuff, things get a little bit more risky. But on DraftKings, maybe you could use the salary relief. Everything kind of lines out outside of the fact that they have a pretty short leash on the guy. So, of course, that's kind of a big deal when it comes to picking your pitchers in tournaments, but that's the overall breakdown when it comes to him. Walker Buehler taking on the St. Louis Cardinals, 28.3% K overall, 28.8% K rate against righties, and a 27.7% K rate against lefties. Really good across the board, has really been looking good throughout the season. I think he's getting better as the season goes on. And when looking at his opponent in the St. Louis Cardinals, not the best matchup in the world, but they definitely do have their fair share of strikeouts, especially once you get down towards the bottom of the order, and guys like Yadier Molina, Tyler O'Neill, the Yankees, the strikeouts really start to crank up there. So definitely think that Walker Buehler is going to be a viable option today. Comes in at 9-7 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, again, priced up at 10-6. Top pitcher on the slate. Looking at his recent performances, his K rates hasn't really been there, which is a little concerning. Has pitched 2 really good games, only 1 earned run allowed the last 2 times out. 105 and 92 pitches, but only 3 and 5 strikeouts. Not going to quite get the job done for you in fantasy. So we're really looking to see that bump up. And that could be an argument that you make against him today, but overall, I think he's in a good spot. There's definitely some other guys we're going to talk about that it might be better ones as far as the strikeout upside is concerned. Drew Smyly taking on the Washington Nationals, 24.7% K overall. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's all been pretty bad over the last 2 years. Dog contact stuff's been pretty bad, but he continues to have a pretty decent strikeout rate. You're hovering right around 24.5% against both sides of the plate. And as far as how he's been performing so far on the season and lately, his recent form, you can see the last few times out, not having the best of pitching performances. 7 earned runs given up against those Boston Red Sox, 3 earned runs against the Pittsburgh Pirates of 4. And I'm kind of starting to think we might be seeing the old Drew Smyly coming back. He was looking really good there for a while. Now he hasn't been too hot. With that being said, the Washington Nationals, team that maybe we can target against with a left-handed hurler. I mean, I don't know. They have some guys in there that could definitely be viable to target, guys like Kyle Schwarber and Juan Soto from the left-hand side of the plate, of course. But then, of course, they do have quite a bit of righties as well. So a little bit scary going to Drew Smyly, in my opinion. Like, if you're going there, sure. But I'd have a lot more interest in these next few guys we're going to talk about, specifically Jordan Montgomery and Sean Manaea. Jordan Montgomery taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, a team that's really struggled against left-handed pitching all year long. 24.6% K overall, 23.4% K rate against righties, and a 28.4% K rate against lefties. And as mentioned, the matchup lines up very well for him. Really been enjoying targeting these Rays with left-handed pitching. He comes in as a 126 favorite, and he actually faced the same Tampa Bay Rays team very recently. I was definitely all in on him in that game. I shouldn't say very recently. It was 3 or 4 games ago. But when he did, he had 9 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched, only 2 hits allowed. Looked really good, and he only threw 85 pitches. So if you can get up there more towards the 90 to 100 mark, you're looking real good in tournaments as well. So I'm going to have a lot of interest in Jordan Montgomery today. I'm going to have a lot of interest in Sean Manaea as well, taking on the Seattle Mariners. As mentioned, these two guys, really good matchups. 23.3% K overall, a 21.3% K rating against righties, and a 29% K rating against lefties. And he gets to take on a Seattle Mariners team that has been dreadful all season long. We love targeting these guys with pitching. Comes in as a 151 favorite. He's priced at 8.5 on FanDuel. As far as DraftKings is concerned, he's priced at 9.6. He's in Seattle, which is also a pretty good pitcher's park. I mean, he does pitch in Oakland, so I'm sure he's used to that environment. And honestly, T-Mobile Park is probably a little bit less of a pitcher's park than Oakland, but overall, in a good spot as far as park is concerned as well. And really going to like the spot for Sean Manaea today. So those two guys specifically. Framber Valdez taking on the Boston Red Sox. I'm sure he could go out there and pitch a great game. Just the Red Sox don't strike out enough for my liking, so I'm probably not going to be going there. Same rule is going to apply for Nick Pivetta. Pablo Lopez taking on Toronto. This game might not even play, but if it does, I'm not really interested in targeting Toronto. Scary lineup up and down. I guess you could make an argument that they do have a decent amount of strikeouts. And Pablo Lopez does have a good strikeout rate against right-handed hitting, so I might be eating my words as far as saying I'm not interested in him because it kind of does match up there. But I get the feeling that this game might not play. Hopefully we get some confirmation on that pretty early in the day. But the Toronto Blue Jays do definitely have a lot of right-handed hitters. And when you're looking at Pablo Lopez's splits, he has a 26.6% K rate against those righties. Good ground ball, fly ball, hard contact stuff. Against lefties is where things start to get a little bit rough. But luckily for us, the Toronto Blue Jays do have lots of right-handed bats. So it shouldn't be an issue. And once we get past Pablo Lopez, honestly, I don't think I really have interest in any other pitchers on this slate today. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down the bats that we like to target. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, scale interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in his career and how good he's expected to be in the future. And Matt Harvey has been really rough these last 2 years, pitching in the bigs, really starting to go downhill. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's really bad, a really bad hard contact rate, a 5.24 slugging given up to right-handed bats, and a 5.76 slugging given up to lefties. Not going to get the job done. He has to take on a Minnesota Twins team today that's going to be in Camden Yards in Baltimore, which, if you don't know by now, is a great hitting environment. Looking at the Baltimore ballpark, you can see green across the board as far as home runs are concerned out there in Camden Yards. And definitely going to be a spot that we like to target as far as bats are concerned. So Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, Alex Kirilloff, Nelson Cruz, Miguel Sano, Trevor Lenark. Unfortunately, it looks like Max Kepler is going to be out for quite some time now on the IL, but it also looks like there's going to be about 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left field in this game. So going to be a great spot for Minnesota. And then once Matt Harvey has to come out of the game, we're not really too worried about the Baltimore bullpen either. So definitely a good spot to be targeting bats there. Chris Flexen taking on the Oakland Athletics. Ground ball, fly ball, strikeout stuff's really bad. It gives up a 4.55 slugging to right-handed hitting and a 4.36 slugging to lefties. Really bad across the board. Also another guy that we can definitely target. And specifically, we're looking to target him with right-handed bats. Left-handed bats don't hurt our feelings either, but a lot more of a slugging given up to those right-handed bats. And he really just doesn't strike anyone out overall. And Oakland's a team that definitely has some power. If anything, we just worry about the strikeouts when it comes to this lineup. So it's a pretty good recipe for success. Guys like Mark Canha, Matt Olson, Jed Lowry, Seth Brown, Sean Murphy, Mitch Moreland, Matt Chapman, all going to be great options. The only problem with this lineup is they have like 3 first basemen in there, so lineup construction can be a little bit rough as far as stacking them up. which might deter you off of them and go to a different team, which I would understand if that's the case, but definitely in a good spot there. And these next two guys is going to be the top spot on the slate. It's going to be in Coors Field, the best hitting environment in baseball. It's expected to be about 77 degrees out there. Comes in with an 11 over under. I'm pulling up the diagram here that I always like to show you guys for a visual. When it comes to Coors Field, you can see why we like to target it so much, because it is just an absolutely ridiculously good hitting environment. Green across the board, right-handed batters, left-handed batters, all around a massively large outfield, so there's plenty of room for that ball to land. And then both these guys are really not good. Don't really strike anyone out. Jordan Lyles is a much better pitcher than Senzatella from a strikeout aspect. But both give up a lot of slugging. A 460 slugging to righties for Senzatella, a 477 slugging to lefties. Ground ball fly ball stuff's a little bit better than Lyles. Lyles has a better strikeout rate, but the ground ball fly ball stuff's worse. So a lot of hard contact given up for him as well. And this game is going to be the one that you're really looking to focus in on today. On a slate that's not so large, could be really popular, but for good reason. Guys like Willie Calhoun, Isaiah Kiner-Fafella, Nate Lowe, Adolis Garcia, Joey Gallo, power on the 4 and 5 spot. Looking to really stack them up today. And then on the Colorado side, you got Ramel Tapia, Daza, Ryan McMahon, CJ Crone, Charlie Blackmon. Much more watered down lineup, but once again, best hitting environment, and these guys are going to have plenty of opportunities to be hitting on some runs, RBIs, home runs, all the above with these pitching staffs. And then when you get to the bullpen, it's going to get even uglier. So this is going to be a very high-scoring game, one you're definitely going to want to have a piece of, and one that unfortunately will be popular, but it's kind of hard to avoid. So definitely going to be good options there. John Lester taking on the Atlanta Braves. Ground ball, fly ball stuff has been bad, specifically against right-handed hitting. Has had some really bad hard contact issues. A 474 slugging, giving up a 37% hard contact rate. And he has to take on an Atlanta Braves team that is very right-handed heavy, and an Atlanta Braves team that has a bunch of talent up and down the order. Of course, you got Ronald Acuna at the top of the order. Ozzie Albies absolutely matches left-handed pitching. Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson. William Contreras can really rake for a catcher, and I'm sure his ownership won't be as high because he is a catcher, so I always like playing that at the bottom of the order. Then you can round out your stacks with a guy like Heredia in the 8 spot. So John Lester, not a guy that I'm scared of targeting at all there. Nick Pivetta taking on the Houston Astros, another guy that has some hard contact issues across the board. Really not good looking at the sheet. A lot of red going on. A 466 slugging given up to righties and a 486 slugging given up to lefties. Not going to get the job done, especially when you're taking on a Houston Astros team that is deep up and down the lineup. It's in Houston, which isn't the best hitting environment overall, but definitely not the worst. Going to be in the dome. We don't have to worry about the cold weather and some of these other spots that we have to worry about. So definitely going to like the Houston stack. Maybe not as much as some of these other guys we've been talking about, of course, but it should get them at lower ownership, and they could be the ones that maybe take you to the top of the leaderboard. So Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, Jordan Alvarez, Ulesky Gurriel, and Kyle Tucker in the 4 through 6 spot. There's plenty of power to go around there. Chas McCormick has also shown a lot of power in the 7 spot. A lot of strikeouts, but definitely some upside in tournaments. Another low and bad that you could be tossing in your lineups and feeling pretty good about from an upside aspect. And Drew Smyly taking on Washington. Already talked about this matchup a little bit earlier, but a lot of good contact hitters in this lineup. Not exactly the most power, which is a little concerning to me in my tournament lineups. Like, well, I can play Trey Turner, Josh Harrison, Ryan Zimmerman, Starlin Castro if I want to. Not sure it's going to have the most upside. It's in Atlanta, which is a pretty good hitter's ballpark. Pulling up the diagram for you guys as far as that's concerned. You can see a lot of yellow going on across the board, which isn't the worst hitting environment. Definitely something that we could deal with. And as mentioned, not worried about these guys striking out. I'm more so worried about the power upside and whether they can actually hit the ball over the wall. So that would be my concern with that stack. And then we have another opportunity here to stack against Carlos Martinez, take it on a Dodgers team that you could stack every single night because their lineup is just absurdly talented. They have a 4.92 implied run total. As far as Carlos Martinez's stuff, you can see he's really been struggling pretty much mostly against righties, which he is a right-handed pitcher himself. So more reverse splitsy, 384 slugging, giving up 35.4% hard contact rate. And of course, the Dodgers do have some good righties in guys like Mookie Betts, Justin Turner, Will Smith, Chris Taylor, up and down the order. And the lefties, I'm not too scared of targeting either. Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger, Gavin Lux, and Zach McKinstry. So, can definitely be going to them. Robbie Dobnak taking on the Baltimore Orioles. I'm not all too interested in targeting him, to be honest. And after we get past him, really not interested in targeting too much. Framber Valdez, you could be targeting these right-handed Boston bats up to power against righties, but he does have a pretty good ground ball, fly ball rate. So, not the most excited to go there. And then the other guys that you could be targeting, the other guys you could be targeting are Sean Manaea and Jordan Montgomery, who I mentioned pitching, but they give up a lot of hard contact to right-handed bats. So both the Seattle and Tampa Bay Rays bats that can mash lefties you could be targeting. Honestly, Tampa Bay Rays don't have many bats that do crush, as I've mentioned, but the guys they do are Mike Brousseau, Mike Zunino, most notably at the bottom of the order, honestly, are the guys that I'd be most excited about playing. And then on the Seattle Mariner aspect of things, Mitch Haniger, Ty France, Tom Murphy. Really, Mitch Haniger and Tom Murphy are the guys that have a lot of power events. Left-hand pitching, as well as Jack Mayfield at the bottom of the order. So you could be playing those guys. And with all that being said, that is my overall breakdown of this 8-game slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Josh Donaldson. Take it on Matt Harvey. I mentioned his hard contact issues, and most notably, Josh Donaldson profile is really good against this guy's stuff. Matt Harvey gives up a 524 slugging to righties, a 374 WOBA, and specifically breaking down what he throws on average, throwing that fastball at 93 miles an hour about 43% of the time. Josh Donaldson absolutely mashes that pitch, a 432 ISO with a 423 WOBA. And as far as the secondary pitches, Harvey will go to the slider against right-handers 27% of the time. Donaldson mashes that pitch, a 319 ISO with a 360 WOBA, 43% hard contact rate. And the third pitch, the sinker, he'll go to about 18% of the time. And Donaldson mashes as well, a 246 ISO with a 442 WOBA. Love this spot for Josh Donaldson. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Josh Donaldson, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.